Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. I just sent Dr. Parks Evans an invite to join. Dr. San, let me know if you got the invite. Hopefully you'll be popping up soon. I'll do it again. Oh, it's successfully sent. You should be getting it right now. Everyone, happy Wednesday. Hey, Sweet Pea. Hey, Jax. Hey, Daphne. Hello. How are you? Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me? Am I coming in? Dr. Sen, I think you have a connectivity issue. Can you all hear me? I guess you're throwing up hearts because you can hear me, right? But can somebody confirm? Say, I can hear you, Kaz. Wonderful.
Okay.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Welcome. I'm well. How are you?
Today's Wednesday, and I had a challenging day, but we are here. We're going to have really, really amazing conversations, and it's going to be fantastic. So,
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
thank you for accepting my invitation. I decided that because I'm having such an interesting day, that I was going to sit in one of the comfortable places in my place, which is on the steps, so I could see the beauty of the city, but I know that I'm only going up to remind me that things are good, life is good.
Yes,
So,
and remember, tomorrow is always another day. Tomorrow's always another day, even though it
tomorrow
seems
is
like we can't
another.
get through till tomorrow. But tomorrow is another day. The sun will rise again. So there's always aspirations in
And
that.
it absolutely will. And even if it rains before it rises, it's coming. So I'm okay with that. So, okay. So welcome and
Amen.
let's get started. Hello, Convos with Kaz community. And I'm going to do you the way I love to introduce all of my guests. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go. Hello, Convos with Kaz community, and welcome to another episode of Convos with Kaz. I am Kaz, and I have an amazing guest today. So let me tell you all about who I am about to speak with. Her name is Dr. Cassandra M. Parks Evans, CLO, Chief Love Officer, and owner of Let's Learn Love LLC. She is a certified relationship, dating, and intimacy coach and sex educator. Dr. Cassandra M. Parks Evans is an ambassador for the American Sexual Health Organization and Sexual Health Alliance. Dr. Parks Evans is also an affiliate of IOC, the Institute of Coaches through McLean Hospital, which is a part of Harvard University. She believes learn what you need and be unapologetic for it. Let's Learn Love's mission is to empower people all over the world to create fun and healthy relationships, dating, and intimacy through correct information and techniques. Dr. Cassandra M. Parks Evans has been featured on CNN, Voyage ATL, the Style with Trish TV show on AIBTV.com, and has been a featured panelist for the BET Hers 2019 Black Women's Expo here in Atlanta. She is a staple on Style with Trish, which is on AIBTV. She is the wife of Alaric and the mother of two amazing boys, Michael and Tristan. Convos with Kaz community. Throw up your hearts, throw up your peaches, throw up your eggplants, throw up your hands, and welcome Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans, your new and favorite Chief Love Officer to Convos with Kaz. Welcome, Dr. San. How are you?
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I'm overwhelmed. I didn't know you was going to read the whole thing. I'm so sorry.
Ma'am, we are here for people to be able to relate to other people in the world that they have never met before. And in order for them to be able to partially relate, they need to know who you are and how they can relate to you. So that is my, it's honestly, me reading my guest bio is probably the favorite part for me of the conversation, because it really ignites me and reminds me why I'm doing this, right? To bring people on that I've never met before, because we've never met. We have a mutual friend in common, and I see that she's in here.
Yes, we do. Yes, Dr. Stevens.
But to bring people on and you know, make this world a more relatable place. I could say better, right? But we all know that we all want to make the world a better place, but more relatable to people. And for them to know that there are people out here doing what they do that they can collaborate with, have been where they have been, and knowing that they will get past where they're going. And then just people out here generally wanting to help and teach and learn and educate and eradicate some stigmas around things, or just encourage you and inspire you. So here we are. So let's get right into it. I have learned from my life lessons and will love to pass on my knowledge. I want to help you reach your max. I copied that from, I believe it was your LinkedIn page. So explain to me, how did you get here? Like, when you were a little girl, I always ask people, even today, I say, so what do you want to be when you grow up, right? I don't care if you're 3, I don't care if you're 33. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Actually, when I grew up, I wanted to be an obstetrician. I thought that babies were amazing. I wanted to be an obstetrician gynecologist. And I don't know what happened. Truthfully, my grades were okay. I was good, and I just freaked out in the middle of chemistry class one day. So that's what happened. I kind of took a left turn and chose another path, but that's what I wanted to do when I grew up. But the way that life works, I ended up going to the Navy.
Okay.
And I actually have a electrical engineering degree. That was what my bachelor's was actually in. In the Navy, I did what it was called SATCOM, or satellite communications. And when you go, when you go, you get college credit. So I had so many that I didn't want them to go to waste. So I just went ahead and got that. But my master's and my doctorate are in psychology type areas.
So how did it lead you to being a chief love officer?
I was married 3 times. The first time I was in the Navy, it was, I won't ever call any of my relationships mistakes. They all were learning things for me. I got married too young, and I felt pressured. So we split ways. My second one, my ex-husband was a serial cheater.
Ooh.
So along the way, this was like my second marriage. You know, it was very, very dark. You know, I'm wondering if it was me. So I'm studying all these things on psychology and relationships and just everything that I can get my hands on. And at the time, I was also studying psychology. So it just kind of melted all together. It just kind of melted all together, excuse me. And that's how it kind of happened. At the time, my mother was a psychologist. She is now retired, and she was a drug and alcohol counselor.
Okay.
And what happened was when people were getting their life together, they didn't have a life plan. So in order for me to work with her, I became a life coach. Coach, a lot of broken relationships. You know, mother, father, and it really was it just kind of all combined into one big conglomerate. So that's how I studied extensively about relationships.
Well, and of course it started when you were trying to figure your own out, right? You were like, well, let me try to work this out. That's what we do. I am a divorcee as well. And before I was like, this is the end. I said to myself, well, how do I try to figure out how to make this work? Because I need to look within first, right? Like, is it me? I think, do women always do that? Like, is it me? What did I do? But at the end of the day, it's not always us. But if it is partially us, it's not always just on us. So I like that self-reflection kind of brought you where you are now to help people. So let's continue the conversation here. When people think about sex, they tend to shrink, right? And conversations are frowned upon. So Dr. San, you're a member of the Sexual Health Alliance and an American Sexual Health Association ambassador. So tell us a little bit about these organizations. Are they organizations that people should know about? Or are they organizations that have helped you help other people in changing the stigma of the conversation to more educating and highlighting the most intimate parts of adulthood?
Well, some of them are both. Some of them are people are able to join, but a lot of them are just, professional type situations where in associations where I go and get more information. I take this very seriously. So I'm constantly going to class, trying to learn different techniques. One of the smallest things I do is I scan all articles that have to do with relationships, dating, and intimacy every day, just to stay on top of information. Mm. So, I welcome you to, just be nosy, go on my page and find out some of the organizations that I am a member of and see if you can possibly support them in some way, especially me being a sexual health educator and advocate. The things that are going on now in Texas is very disturbing to me. Of course, you don't have...
Not just you.
Yes. If you have some way to help, whether it's Planned Parenthood or, just any other grassroots organization out of Texas, please, if you feel strongly about it, sign up. I'm sorry, I hate to be doing a PSA, but this is women's lives that are in jeopardy right now. And
and please don't feel sorry. These are, first of all, we're two women having a conversation, and I feel the same way that you do, right? No one has the right to decide what I do with my body. If it's regarding a bringing a soul, a being into this world, or be it keeping myself healthy, I'll just say that, right? You cannot tell me what to do with the temple in which I take care of. So I'm with you 100% on that. So thank you for that. Yeah, and one of the things people always like, oh, I'm gonna go follow so and so. That's great, but I'm about, let's go and support. So if anyone that is listening, please go to Dr. San's website, letslearnlove.com. Is that right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Go to the website, be nosy. It's okay to be nosy here because she's teaching about things that people are very nervous to talk about. So, scout around and see what you see. And if something interests you, contact her or contact one of the organizations that she's a member of. Everyone, we're getting to fourth quarter soon, and people are looking to spend some of their money so they can get those credits, right? As opposed to just taking your clothes to the Goodwill. Think about making a donation to some organizations like Dr. San said. So thank you for that information. All right, let's talk more about Let's Learn Love. The mission is to empower people all over the world to create fun and healthy relationships, dating, and intimacy through correct information and techniques. Is a relationship coach similar to a marriage counselor? Are we talking about coaching for married couples? Are we talking about coaching for people that are thinking about getting married, single couples, new couples, individuals? Like who would benefit from relationship coaching, and why is it important?
Okay. Yes, anybody can benefit from relationship coaching because we deal with relationships every day, whether it's personal, business, or a mix in between. It could be your family. That's one thing that is very, very important is family relationships. And we all know that, we've heard people dysfunctional families. I don't talk to my daddy. You don't talk to my mama, things like that. So I definitely work with those type of people for opening up communication. We talk about trust, hurt. You know, a lot of times people don't talk to one another because there has been a major trust issue or some sort of communication breakdown. So one of the things that I do is open those lines of communication again. As far as business and work, that is very important. Most people don't realize 80% of their life they're at work.
Yeah.
With other people that they work with.
That we have to work with. It's not our choice.
Right. And we have to work with them. So I also work with companies with their different staff members, showing them how to relate to one another. Certain personalities match well with others. So if you can recognize that somebody has a different type of personality than you, maybe you can get some information on how to work well with them, because we all need to work together and get a common goal done when it comes to work. And when it comes to, you know, significant others and relationships, again, it's the same thing. A lot of times we have not been taught how to love. We don't know how to speak correctly. We don't know how to fight correctly. So these are just some of the things that I do as far as just relationships to get you built up. So yes, anybody can deal and get good relationship information.
Yeah, so somebody said, so Dr. Stephan said, so basically any relationship coaching to do with my coworkers. Yeah, but you know, I'm glad you said that, because I wasn't even thinking that when you said relationships. I just thought, not even intimate, I just thought kind of a man and a woman, or a man and man, however or whoever you want to deal with as your significant other. But relationship is whoever we meet in life that we have to learn how to communicate with. So thank you so much for making that distinction. So people understand, right? Like, you're not just talking to them about how to deal with the person they live with or the kids that they brought into this world that are getting on their nerves. You're talking about how to deal and communicate across the board. So I think that's great. Let's get into, I have one more question to kind of talk about what you do. And then I have been polling some of the Convos with Kaz community, and there are some questions waiting for you already. But if you did not send me a question, please feel free to put your question down in the comments section. And then we will also address those, because I'm making sure there's not going to be a Kaz's quickie tonight, everyone. It's going to be the Convos with Kaz community questions for Dr. Sand. So let's kind of get into more relationship type stuff, and not the ones with your coworkers. I'm talking about the ones with that little somebody special, right? I'm going to start with this one. Online dating. It's kept a lot of people warm over the last, 15, 18 months, kind of myself included, but we won't talk about that. So what are some of the do's and don'ts for people who are thinking about creating a profile for online dating? And are there some things, maybe, this is a multi-part question, right? So I'll stop with this last part. Are there some things that they should think about when creating their profile, and some things that they might want to avoid?
Yes. Always, I always say this, do a recent picture. The most recent picture that you have where you are smiling, where you do not have on glasses, and you look somewhat presentable. It doesn't mean that you have to have on a full face of makeup. It doesn't mean that you have to, you know, be a bridesmaid in somebody's wedding. But what you should do is look kept. Also, when people see people with glasses on, a lot of times it gives them a negative feeling. It's like a psychology thing that they think they're blocking out something or trying to hide something. So always take your glasses off. Look at the camera, smile, look pleasant, look like that you're approachable. Those would be the first things that I would say that are very important when it comes to online profile. Second of all, always take a second to think about what you are writing. I would always recommend writing it down on a piece of paper first before you actually type it, because when you write it down, it gives you a chance to form your words and actually look at your words and commit to them.
You're breaking up a little bit. Hopefully you'll come back. But I do see some questions. So Daphne, I did make a note of your question. But Dr. Sand, you are in the matrix. Are you back?
Yes. Am I back? I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, you're back.
Okay. The one other thing I will always say is be honest in what you're looking for. A lot of times we are not honest on online dating profiles because we're just trying to meet somebody and think that is something that somebody wants to hear. Always be honest, because at the end of the day, you want someone to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
So, whatever you're into, make sure that somebody is going to be into the same stuff that you are. So it's easier just to be straight and honest from the beginning.
And here's the honesty is, why would you go into something looking for someone and not be honest? You're already starting off on the wrong foot, right? So why are you here?
Right.
If you are doing that,
right.
you might want to go to Dr. Sam's website, letslearnlove.com, and give her the email, a call, and she can kind of help you work that out a little bit more. So before I start moving into the questions, finishing up with the online dating, right? Online dating didn't work for me. Let's just say that. So what do you suggest for people where online dating doesn't work, which could possibly lead to the first question, which is, do you have a match? Well, what do you suggest for if online dating is not your thing?
I would suggest maybe finding a matchmaker. A lot of times matchmaking services are very good because what they end up doing is they kind of weed out and kind of herd you to the things that you're already looking for. It gets hard. Trust me, I know. I was in the dating pool a while. So it gets hard, especially when you're trying to run a business, have a family, work, and everything else. It just cuts down on a lot of foolishness. You try to get matched up with somebody who is interested in similar things as you. Try it out and see. Always make sure that, you have a matchmaking service that has a good reputation. Make sure that it is one that gives you all the information that you need as far as, is it a monthly membership? What happens if I want to cancel? They should be able to answer those questions readily. And if not, then that should be a red flag when you go to see someone at a matchmaking service.
Okay, so then that leads to the first question we're going to address. From Daphne in the comments is, do you have a matchmaking service?
Well, actually, I am a part of, I'm just now announcing it to the world, so you're the first person to actually know.
Say something I can hear.
I am, have you heard of Enrich Her? It is a women's-based grant program. They do a lot of business type of things where they give you business information. They help you with grants, business loans. It's for minority and women entrepreneurs. And they have a new division now called Enrich Her Love. And it is a matchmaking service. And I'm honored to say that I am one of the relationship consultants that are hired on to help them. So as a shameless plug, if you're interested, go follow Enrich Her Love and all the wonderful people that are there, and we can try to get you matched up.
So Enrich Her Love, is that are they on Instagram? Is there a website?
Put it in the comments.
Uh-oh,
and I'm sorry.
Keep talking. Enrich Her, so I'm going to wait till Dr. Sam is coming out of the matrix a little bit, but she did say that she is an expert and a coach with a newly established program, Enrich Her Love. So that should answer the first question of, does she have a matchmaking service? And let me tell you who wrote it down.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Hopefully I'm back. Yes.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. So I was asking, is that an Instagram page? Is that a website?
It is a website, but I am putting it up in the comments so you can scroll through and see them in the comments.
Wonderful. I don't know how to pin it. I would definitely pin it if I could. So if somebody wants to tell me how to do that, I will. But let's get to some questions here really quickly that came in. One of the first questions, and I thought this was interesting, can someone have intimacy without sex? Uh-oh, I think you're back in the matrix. Ooh, this is such a good
Oh
question.
no. I'm
Okay,
sorry. It
I
must
see
be
you
the
moving your
weather
hands.
because I don't know what is going on now because I have a full bar. I'm so sorry, but
No worries. Did you hear the question?
no, I didn't. I'm so sorry.
Okay. No worries, no worries. It said, can someone have intimacy without sex?
Oh no. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
One more time.
No worries, you're there. We're going to try this.
Yes.
You know what? Maybe I should try another question, but we're going to try this one more time.
Um.
Are you ready?
Yes. Yes. I'm ready.
Can someone have intimacy without sex?
Yes. Yes, they can. Intimacy is not just sex. Intimacy, most people think that intimacy is just physical, but intimacy is a number of things. There's actually 11 different types of intimacy, but the ones that are a majority are emotional, physical, of course, and mental intimacy. And what intimacy actually means is just means closeness. You can have a closeness with a coworker that you share things. You can have closeness and intimacy with one of your best friends. So intimacy is not necessarily physical. Again, it's anybody that you have a closeness to and an attachment with.
Thank you for that answer. That's good to know. Now we're going to get a little into some things here. Someone asked this question. What are some suggested devices for a couple or a person to use?
Okay. I missed the question. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed.
Okay.
One more time.
It's okay. Maybe I shouldn't be asking this question. Somebody asked, what are some suggested devices for a person or a couple to use?
Oh, that is a great one. Depending on the couple, there's different things. If it is a couple where someone is getting penetrated, I would always suggest a vibrating cock ring. Vibrating cock ring is very good because people can have the sensation of the vibration. This works if you're using some sort of device or if it is a actual penis. So I always recommend that for a couple is a vibrating cock ring. Something I would also suggest is anything remote control, because what happens is when anything is remote control, that gives somebody else permission to hold it and to use it at will. So that's always one thing to spice up relationships as well.
I appreciate that. I'm not going to ask you any brands because I don't know if you endorse, so we won't do that. But everybody can do their research based on what you just said. Okay, here's another question. If your partner doesn't get excited anymore and doesn't initiate like they used to, what do you suggest?
That is a sign of there is some sort of issue right there. Usually if no one is interested in having any kind of relations or any type of intimacy, there's usually a communication breakdown. There's a trust issue. There is some sort of infidelity issue. It all boils down to a trust issue, because if you trust somebody, that leaves you vulnerable, which also means intimacy. So I would always recommend getting a professional opinion about that and talk about it. Ask them why they haven't been. Not all the time does that mean that it's a communication problem between you two. It can be a communication problem amongst themselves because they can't express that they're stressed at work. They can express that they're stressed because of life or something that is going on. Maybe they're having an issue because of COVID and they're in a depressed state. There's things that need to be known. So the best thing is to always ask in the future.
Thank you. Yeah, that makes it's funny because I thought I was going to understand what you were saying. I was like, oh, sounds like an easy one, right? But you said it could be because of themselves too, right?
Very
So
much.
good to know. I thought this was an interesting question that came in. Is there really such a thing as casual sex, or do they compartmentalize and allow it to be casual?
That is an excellent question. Sometimes it's both, there's a mindset that, people are not allowed to have sexual intercourse with random people because, of an attachment. Some people just don't have an attachment, and it is a physical need. As much as it sounds, some people can actually do that. They can, separate their feelings from actual having the intimacy and the sexual part of it. So it just depends on the person. It is a possibility.
Okay, so I see that there are a lot of new people that are joining. So what I want to do is kind of reintroduce what we're doing here, right? Welcome to Convos with Kaz. To those of you that are new to this conversation, my guest today is Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans. She is a CLO, Chief Love Officer, certified relationship, dating, and intimacy coach, as well as sex educator. So right now we're doing Q&A. So if you are secure in who you are, because this is a grown-up adult conversation, a no judgment zone, and if you have a question about relationships, dating, intimacy, sex, please put the question into the comments, and Dr. Sand will answer it. We're going to be on for a few more minutes. This is your time to get a question answered. I would tell you to DM me, but don't do that because I won't be able to see it. The time to DM me was yesterday. So I am going through some questions that people did DM me, but if you are new and you are okay with who you are, and I think you should be because we're all adults here, because we just talked about what devices she suggests for personal and couple usage. We talked about having intimacy without sex. We just talked about, is casual sex really a thing? So these are the conversations that we're having, and I'm encouraging you all to be open here, be honest. Convos with Kaz is a relatable conversation, and we're having this so she can help us relate to some of the things that might be going on. So I say that, don't hesitate, put your comments down below and we'll answer it. But until then, I'm gonna ask you another question that came in. How do you suggest a person bring up intimacy concerns with their partner, be it a new relationship or an old relationship?
Just come out and say it. Be mindful of your words, first of all. Make sure that it is a setting where it is somewhat relaxed. Nobody wants to feel attacked, especially when it comes to saying something about intimacy, sex, a relationship. People can find it accusatory and they can feel attacked. So make sure that you watch your tone. Make sure it's in a relaxed setting. Usually I recommend after dinner, that time after dinner, maybe you're watching TV. Another thing that always sparks a good conversation is if a commercial comes on and you're watching TV. That's a good way to kind of segue into it, be like, hey, since that commercial, I'm thinking about this, and that. So that's a good way to segue into something as well, too. Make sure I would write down a couple of points about it and stay on your points. Because, again, this is a hot zone. Somebody can get offended, and it can take a whole left turn. Make sure that you stay on topic. Make sure you stay on your point.
Yeah, thank you for that. And you're right. And I'm encouraging people to ask these questions, and I probably should have done it a little longer than 24 hours in advance. And I'm probably going to bring you back on because the conversation around intimacy and sex and casual sex or sex before marriage, there's such a stigma around it. But there should not be, right? We're all adults. We all know what we're doing out here in this world. And when you have someone as amazing as Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans, who can help us understand what that looks like, can teach us, can make us feel comfortable, can give us techniques, I want you guys to have a resource like that, right? Not just in this conversation. She has a website, letslearnlove.com. So I suggest and encourage that you go there as well. But I see another question in the comments, so I'll ask that before I go to my next one. Dating, when is it appropriate time to talk about finances and credit? And how should that be approached? That question, let me tell you something. I will be honest here. I wish I would have asked that question way sooner than I did, because I had to ask it at a certain point because of a situation. So I really want to hear your advice on this. And I'm being transparent, people. That's what I'm saying. And this is recorded, so put your questions down here. They won't see the questions in the recording, only here. But please answer that question, Dr. Sand.
I would say that conversation needs to come up once you begin a serious journey. After it has been established that, you know, you're going to be monogamous, or I won't say monogamous, I would say that you're in a committed relationship. Because some people, monogamy is not their thing. Maybe they're polygamous. That's well and fine too. But the rules and the boundaries stay the same. When you get to a point where you have established a said relationship and all the terms and the boundaries and the everything has been agreed upon, then that's when that conversation needs to come up. And the reason why I say that is because if you go on this journey long term, you should know what you're getting yourself into. Now, am I saying that you have to divulge your social security number and, you know, where your mama lives and all that? I won't say that, but you should be very transparent at this point, because what happens is, if you want that person to be transparent with you, you have to be transparent as well. You know, hey, you know, I have student loans. Everybody has student loans, but, you know, you don't have to be specific. Right. You don't have to be specific, but you should allow the person to know what your plans are in the future, what your journey is as far as your finances, you know, your job goals and your aspirations. You know, that's just like somebody called me the other day, and she was distraught. She is literally engaged to be married. They're going to be married in September, but she's having second thoughts because she feels like she makes more money than her significant other, and that's causing her issues. And like I told her, you knew this situation all along. Why is this an issue now? You know, so he was very transparent with her. He told her, but the thing was, she said, it seems like his life changed and the goals change. Make sure that the person that you're with, or the people that you're with, or whoever you're in a committed relationship with, knows your goals and your aspirations as soon as possible when you change them. Sometimes you can get sideswiped in, you know, you thinking this person is going to work at this job forever, and they start a business. Yes, you should support them in starting their business, but you want to ask them, okay, do you have a business plan? What is your business plan? You know, you have a right to ask those questions, because if you're in a long-term relationship with this person, more than likely you're going to be going through the ups and downs with this person.
And, you know, it goes back to something that I realized recently, is that when you're honest with people, it's the best way to go, right? We talked about with dating apps, and being honest in your profile and who you are and what you're saying. But it also allows people the most important thing when you're getting to know somebody, which is a choice. You are giving me a choice on whether I want to continue to walk this path with you or to walk away. And when you are on the opposite side of giving that person a choice, you have to be accepting that that person has a choice to make. And that could be with you or without. That could be with you for a while. But once you start to divulge and give information, that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It just does not work for that person, that is okay. I am finding that, maybe I'm getting a little relationship advice here too, but I'm just finding that people don't understand that's actually a thing, right? That's super important in relationships. It's giving the other person a choice.
Right. And what is so ironic and so funny is when I speak to my ex-husband and all the philandering ways that he had, I always tell him, now make sure that you're upfront with these ladies. And I really don't want to see anyone get hurt, you know, physically, mentally, in any form of fashion. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. Just be upfront. You'll be surprised about the number of people that will agree to go along with your lifestyle, as long as you're upfront about it. You know, the good, bad, or the ugly, you know, but this is who I am. Be proud of who you are. And I'm sure that somebody will come along that aligns along with you.
Yes, I agree. And I don't know if you were just kind of talking to me directly with that one, but thank you for that. So, you know, we were talking about something earlier when you said, and it made me think of this question. This is kind of just coming off the cuff because I want to encourage people to put some questions in here too. I do have some more questions that people sent me. But you said that, you know, it's not always monogamy these days, right? Polygamy, and I don't want to say polygamy is a big thing, but I had this whole conversation with my friend Chris Epps, who has a show, chriseppspresents.com, so shout out to him. But we were having this conversation about, you know, is polygamy something new? And I said no, right? Because we saw polygamy from like Sister Wives, all of these shows that have been on TV for many, many years. But what we're seeing is that I think there's a transgression, there's a transference right now into other communities, right? Because I did not see polygamy very big in African American communities and Latin communities. And now that's something that I see a lot more of. What do you say to someone that thinks they're dating somebody, or maybe in a casual threesome, and they realize that they're in a polygamous relationship? Like, is there any guidance, like what they should do? Like, how do you figure that out? I don't even know if you can answer that question, but I just thought about that when you said the monogamy and the polygamy.
Right. Most of the time, I will say that people that are into polygamy or polygamist or multiple relationships where they feel open about it, they tell the other person, like from the beginning, you know, hey, I'm in a polyamorous relationship. How do you feel about it? And like I said, you'll be surprised, especially in Atlanta, how many people love that lifestyle that is conducive for them. It gets their needs met, and I'm all for it. My thing is, I am for it as long as there's no kids or no animals involved, and everybody in the situation is consenting.
Absolutely. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier with women's rights, right? It is and the choice. We were just talking about choice. It is your choice. As long as people are being upfront and informing you about what the situation is, you have a choice. When people are honest, you have a choice. You could do whatever it is that you want. My parents always taught me, you could do whatever you want, but understand if it goes this way, what happens, or if it goes this way, what happens. But it is your choice. But you also have to deal with the good or the consequences that come with that choice. So I'm going to jump into another question I see down here, and then we're gonna bring this to a close shortly. Every couple has disagreements. What should be off the table when arguing with your partner?
The thing that I love about people and fighting is that it is communication.
Okay.
Now, because fighting is good. You know, you can't be an individual and have ideas and not be able to express them. Now, the issue comes in if you're fighting fair or not. Fighting fair means, as I was explaining earlier when I was talking to somebody about intimacy. If you have an issue with somebody, my thing is always write down what your issue is.
Okay.
1. 2, come with a solution for that issue. It is unfair for you to say to someone, okay, I don't like that you do such and such and such. Okay, so what do you expect me to do? You have no answer. That's unfair to that person, and that doesn't help solve the problem. Maybe if you give them a suggestion, maybe they can counteract it and you can come to something in the middle. But you can't come to somebody open-ended like that and not come with a solution. So that cuts down on a lot of foolishness too. The third thing I will always say is stick to the point. Don't go back to anything that doesn't have to do with that situation right there. We're not going back to nobody's mama and what she said back in 1984. We ain't going to what your sister said the other day when we was buying the fish down the street. We're not doing all that.
She brought 4 people to the wedding. We're not gonna do that.
We're not doing that. What we're doing is we're staying on topic with the issue that we're discussing right now.
Awesome.
We're not calling anybody any names. And even though I will say sometimes you can get elevated with your voice, you never should go above an elevated voice. there should never be any yelling. There should never be any screaming, because that's demeaning on both sides. If it seems like that you can't come to a resolution about the issue, take a break on it. The old adage, well, maybe you're not supposed to sleep on it or anything like that. Sometimes you do have to sleep on it. I would rather prefer you try to get the situation handled and talk about it before, but sometimes you do need a break, and it causes people's tempers to flare. So, try to take a break, and again, most of the time that will not happen if you come with a solution.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate. I think that is great advice, right? It's kind of like at work, right? When you're presenting a problem that's occurring, it's like, okay, so what do you think we should do about that problem, right? Take that home in a better way because you love this person unconditionally, or you are nurturing this person, and utilize the same techniques there, right? So thank you for that answer. So we are about to wrap up this conversation. I've got 2 more questions, but my guest today on Convos with Kaz is Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans. She is Chief Love Officer. She is a certified dating, intimacy, relationship coach, as well as sex educator. If you just joined and you have a quick question that is burning and a desire that you want to get answered because you are just so concerned about why this thing happens or what you should do here when it comes to those things, put it down really, really quickly in the comment section. I've got 2 more questions for you. This came in. How do you keep it spicy after being with someone for like 1,000 years?
Why does it always go out on your questions? Oh no.
Are you ready for it? How do you keep it spicy?
Okay, I can hear you.
How do you keep it spicy after being with someone for like 1,000 years?
Keeping it spicy. Really, really quick, easy answer. Date your significant other. Date them. Remember why you are with them in the first place. Remember why you met them. Remember how you felt when you first got that first phone call or text message or whatever. Remember the good things about it. Also, things that are bothering you, that you feel like that you're losing the spice. Try to talk about it, and if it feels like that it is going to be too much, then go seek professional help.
That was a whole statement. If it feels like it's too much, go seek professional help. That is so important, right? The stigma in this, I think the stigma that was previously a big dark cloud over minority communities was therapy. And we have begun to move past that. I'm in therapy. I have a lot of friends in therapy. I see there's a lot of male friends that I have in therapy. They understand the importance of that. There's couples therapy, there's singles therapy, there's children's therapy. We all need help, right? Your pastor is great, but unless he is a licensed therapist, you might want to look for someone else to help guide you in a different way. So I thank you for ending with that point, with that question. So I'm thinking Kaz Quickies, and we are 50 minutes in almost, but this is a great conversation, so I'm going to bring you back. But, the thing that people don't want to talk about is sex, right? Let's be honest, right? When it even comes to social media, they don't even want you to write SEX. You got to write S3X and things like that because of the stigma. We got to get away from that. Especially, I do understand in some situations, people should not be on these sites because they're under 18, but these sites are for adults. They are for grown people. They're for good, I don't want to say wholesome, but good adult conversations that understands that this is an intimate relationship between 2 people, be it if you love them or not, but you are transferring energy when you do certain acts and have acts of intimacy. So here's going to be my last question to you. When it comes to sex, what are things that people don't do that they maybe should try? Maybe single people that are just like, I want to try and know what I like, so when I get married, I can tell him or her or they what I like. And married couples that are like, oh, that's a thing? How do we do that? So what are, let's just say 3 things that single people should try and do and 3 things that married people should try and do.
Well, the first thing I always recommend for anybody is investigate. If there's something that may be interested, or you may come across an article, you may come across something that comes on TV, investigate it, look it up, see what it is. Google is there. Google any and everything. If that Once you do that, find out the specifics of it. Find out what different people say about it.
What it looks like,
Again,
how it feels.
right. Again, as long as it is consenting adults and no children or animals are involved, I say try any and everything. Be curious. Make sure that you're safe while doing it. However, if you are not in a committed relationship, make sure that you are using your contraceptives, your dental dams, your condoms, finger cots. Make sure that if you're interested in being child free or want to prevent some sort of pregnancy, make sure that you're using maybe an oral contraceptive. There's IUDs, there's everything that you can possibly use. Make sure that you're safe generally. But as long as that's the case, experiment, be open, never be closed-minded, because you never know what you may like. I would always say try it. If you don't like it, then you don't have to try it again. But if you're curious about it, go ahead and try to find some information about it.
I love it. And that's kind of the thing. It's like you are in control and you have a choice as long as you are doing it consensually with of age people and not with animals, right? I think that sums up what you were saying.
Yes.
This has been a great conversation. So to the Convos with Kaz community, I have had the pleasure for the last 52 minutes of speaking with Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans. She is Chief Love Officer. Let's Learn Love. She is a certified dating, relationship, and intimacy coach and sex educator. And she is now are you a coach? Tell us again about the enrichment. I don't want to say it correctly, but you were now newly in a kind of a dating service, which is called?
Yes. Enrich Her Love. They, of course, go on there. They do have a waiting list now because it was a hot commodity. So if you're interested, go on there, add your name to the waiting list. But I am now one of 3, which are all excellent people. One of 3 relationship consultants that they have on staff there.
Can we say that we know you? Does that bump us up to the top of the? Maybe I'm asking for somebody in particular.
It might. I'm not sure, but it looks good that I'm advertising it for them. So, hey, but yes, feel free to contact me if you have any questions or comments or need anything. I'd love to talk to you. I just want to make sure that people love right. That's my job.
I love it. Love right? Love right, love good, love solid, love strong.
Because guess what? At the end of the day, love is what gets us through.
Amen to that. So thank you to my guest, Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans. She is the Chief Love Officer at Let's Learn Love. She is a certified relationship, dating, and intimacy coach and sex educator. So if you just joined and you were not able to hear the entire conversation that we had here today, please go follow her, go support her, go to her website, letslearnlove.com. She also has an Instagram page, which you can find here. This is where she is in from. She has a Let's Learn Love Instagram page. And let's go out and support, not just follow, support. If you need relationship coaching, remember, she talks earlier about it's not just between the person who you share a pillow with. It's not just with the children in your home. It is how you deal with relationships in your life, at work, at school. So if you need a little bit of coaching when it comes to that, please look up Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans. Everyone, it has been my pleasure. Thank you to the Convos with Kaz community. I'm going to ask that you throw your hearts back up. Again, let's give some more love before we get up out of here. And if you are just joining, we are ending. We did answer all of the questions that came in via my Instagram page. If you text messaged me, I asked those questions as well. We asked a few extra questions that people put down in the comments. So I will be posting this recording again very shortly. So Dr. San, you can also make a copy of it. There was a little area where you went in and out a couple of times. I don't have really good editing capabilities, so I'm going to post it all because I don't want anybody to miss anything. But
Yes.
again, I thank you for your time. I am absolutely going to bring you back because I want to know, and we should talk about it. I want to hear the progress on this new endeavor that you're doing and how you are helping people. And you never know who you might see on there, people. I'm not saying it's going to be me. I'm just saying you never know. Anywho, I want to thank you all for an amazing time tonight. You could have been anywhere, but you decided to join this conversation and be a part of my community. So again, Dr. San, I thank you. I want you guys to have a great night. And I got some news coming tomorrow for the next Convos with Kaz. But until then, be amazing people. Be better tomorrow than you were today. Have a great night. Have a great day or a good afternoon, no matter where you are in the world. Bye.